What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is ASA Studio. Today I'm showing you how to get your image look the way it's supposed to be naturally. So let me quickly connect my keyboard so we have everything in place. Alright, so thank you very much, guys, for staying tuned, for supporting the channel. But let's get started. The first thing first, I want to actually thank the photographer for making me use the photo igram shots. But let's get started. Alright, so we all know that the skin color is not the way it's supposed to be, and if we zoom in we can see the eye, it's another color, something like purple, and so many things we need to correct in the photo. But I just want to do a color correction tutorial today, so in Capture One. So let's get started. First thing, let's create a non-destructive layer, but it's going to be a fill layer, and this layer I'm going to name it color correction, and I'm going to hit enter. Alright, so under the color correction, let's go to color editor, because this is where we're going to be doing all the edit. So color editor. Okay, before we go to the skin tone, let's start with the basic tab. Now I like using the sample tool if I don't know what the color I want to correct is. But for the face, if you take a look at it, it's actually red. You know, there's some red on the face, so I can just pick red. But if you don't know the color you want to adjust, you can just pick on the sampler tool and touch any place around the face the color you want to correct, and it's just going to show you, pick out the color right here. So now you can change the hue. So I'm going to take it forward to make it look yellowish kind of hue, and I'm going to desaturate it a little bit, yeah, to make it look like this. So notice how the skin is getting natural just with that single step. Okay, so now let's go ahead with the same color. I'm going to pick around, let's say here, and it's still showing us the same place. So let's just go to the orange tab and make the hue look somewhere like this, and as well decrease the saturation of the hue. So let's choose a sweet point for it. So this is looking okay. I'm going to go to the yellows and desaturate the yellows, and you can see the changes in the background. Let me do that again. You can see the changes in the background here when I desaturate the yellow, so you see the effect. So alright, so just a little, and we can increase that the hue. Okay, let's go back to the oranges and see how we can get the melanin color feel. So I guess that place 4.7 is looking okay for me. Alright, so now I don't actually like the blues on her hair. I want it dark, and you can see that actually I get the photo from from Facebook. Okay, so you can see the different variation in color, and it doesn't just match the body at all. So I would just like to decrease the saturation of the blues. And if you don't know the color, you can just pick on the color. It's going to select the blues for you, and you can bring down the saturation. Notice I brought down the saturation, and it's actually make the hair darker. Alright, then there's another color right here. I can pick that, and it's going to show you it jumps to purple. Okay, so we can also desaturate that and make it black, but not too much. Make it darker like this, but it's affecting the lipstick. Okay, so we can create a new layer for that. So let's create a new layer, new fill layer, and this is going to be for the hair alone. So I've selected it and hit M on the keyboard to show the marks. I'm going to pick on the eraser tool and erase it from the mouth or the lips, just like that. Okay, alright, so let's hit M back on the keyboard and let's adjust this. Take it downwards, not too much, just the place is going to feel natural. Okay, somewhere there, and we can change the hue. We can take it backwards, and you can see the difference that actually made to the photo. Alright, so let's whiten the eyes. I'm going to take a new empty layer and pick up the brush to zoom in, and I want to paint on the eyes only. So I'm going to turn it down and select the eyes with the brush tool. Hit M on the keyboard to show the brush. Same thing, select the eyes. It's M on the keyboard. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to name this one eyes. Enter. So I'm going to close the color tab, go to the exposure, and we can bring up the brightness a bit, like 9, and desaturate it. So the more you desaturate it, the more it turns to white. So something like that. So alright, if you bring up the brightness, looks natural than using the exposure tab. Alright, so now we go to where we are actually going to do the uniformity of the skin tones. So let's create a new empty layer and select the magic brush tool, and I'm going to select all the skin tones. Alright, so now I've selected all the skin tones. I can hit M on the keyboard and go to the color editor tab again. Go to the skin tone section, pick on the eyedropper tool. Let's zoom in. I want the skin to look like, let's pick a point. So maybe somewhere here. I pick this side because I love the color of that side. Alright, so increase the uniformity of the hue and the saturation to, but not too much so it doesn't look plastic. So just in case, you can just mess around with the two and see which one looks real. So that's looking okay. I'm going to take this one all the way up, make the hue look, I think that's looking good for me now. So I just found out that this part, it's looking kind of purplish. So let's go back to the adjustment and go to the exposure. Let's see, let's turn it back all the way down. Okay, that's not the one we adjusted. Okay, I guess it's, yeah, that was the one we adjusted. We didn't do it from the saturation, we did it from the color editor. Oh yes, on the basic tab. So let's go to that color, which is this one. I'm just gonna desaturate it the more so we have black all over. Okay, hit M on the keyboard to view the mask. Okay, I think that's okay for us. Alright, so one last thing is to do some color grading to correct the full image. Apart from doing that, I'm going to go to the layer first of all and go to the adjustment we did, which is the skin. I'm going to name it skin, enter, and let's open up where we were before. I'm going to take this forward and you can see that it's going to be yellow. Instead of taking it back, it's going to be black, and I don't want that reddish feel, I want the yellow feel. So this, we can decrease the opacity of it. Go back to the layer, let's decrease the opacity a little bit, and now you can do some color enhancement. Okay, so with the lips, let's see, new empty layer, pick the brush tool and let's select the lips. So I'm going to select the lips and let's change the hue to something that will match the background. Okay, let's erase from some places we don't need it, so something like this. Alright, so now that we've done that, let's go back to the hue color editor, go to the basic, we can use the advanced. If we want to pick a color, you can just pick on the sampler to touch it and let's drag it around. Okay, so smoothness, we can change the hue to something we want. Let's take it backwards and see. So that doesn't look fine. The hue forward, I think it's uniform like this. Now you can bring back the saturation a bit and make it look natural. Let's take it up. Okay, so lightness, bring it backwards and take it upwards. How does it look? I think it's too much. Okay, so there we go. Alright, I'd like to brighten the eyes the more. So let's go to the layer, go to the high dynamic range and let's put more highlight and whites. We can also increase the shadows, take this backwards, and we have that. We can go to the exposure mean the eyes. Yeah, on the exposure we can increase the brightness a bit. Let's go to the high dynamic range, take it up, take the white up. Alright, so let's quickly do it before and after. So this is before and this is after. This is before and after. If you want to do more color grading, you know what to do. So something like, make the background darker, you can take, let's open up the layer panel, create a new empty, okay, let's quickly create a new fill layer, hit M on the keyboard, grab the eraser tool, make it bigger, and I'm going to erase it from our body. It's just a quick one right here. So something like this. Yeah, I'm going to add click the max, make it bigger, and I'm going to add some place to it, just like that. Okay, so let's open up the Luma range and let's remove it from the darker part. From air. Alright, let's just leave it. Each time on the keyboard, go to the exposure and let's bring down the brightness a bit, like that, and it makes the image stand out. We can also desaturate more of that. We can desaturate more, just a bit, 5%, add more contrast, and there we go with the final image before and after. Alright, so guys, if you like the tutorial, you can hit the like button, share and comment. See you in the next video. Once again, thank you.